Welcome to the channel today, folks. Today we're actually out in my greenhouse. We're going to get some amended topsoil mixed in with the compost stuff that we had in here last year. So I'm going to kind of show you guys around and follow along today as we get things set up so we can start getting some stuff planted and get some things growing in here. So as you can see, we got all of these raised beds inside the greenhouse here. So we've come through and pulled our sprinkler heads out, but this is all a good mixture of some compost and stuff, but we're adding in some amended topsoil to get a little bit better fertilization and everything going in with the greenhouse so we can have, good crops and everything growing. So we're going to till this all up inside and get all of this soil loosened up real good so we can add in our amended topsoil and get things mixed up and get our sprinklers all reset and everything, get our water all turned on. We're past our freeze deal here, so we can get the irrigation system all hooked up and everything going. All right, so we got everything all blended in with the tiller on the first level. I didn't catch a video of it because it actually took two of us to do this because it was a raised bed.
It was quite loud.
This is our Ryobi. We used that to till it up. It tilled it up, broke it up really good, but it took me and Parker both to hold that. So because of the raised bed, you're way up high. It's not like you're working it down low. So we're gonna add our amended topsoil into the top of it now, and then we'll go back through and we'll blend that. This is a special blend we got from one of the local places here in town. It's got your regular topsoil. It's also got sawdust and then some manure mixed in with it. So it's what their amended topsoil mix is. So we're going to get this dumped in, and then we'll come back and we'll blend it all up. So just in case you guys are wondering about how we constructed this greenhouse, we basically built it to be able to operate year-round. I mean, we live out here in Wyoming, so Wyoming can have some really tough winters. I mean, last winter was like the least amount of winter that we had. Most the Wyoming natives, like, we didn't have a winter. We're trying to see if we can grow year-round. Last year we were able to grow up until it was late December. In fact, it was almost Christmas. And we actually, one of the kids had come out to check on some stuff, so we still had a bunch of tomatoes and some zucchini and squash and stuff like that growing. And they accidentally didn't get the main door shut, and big snowstorm come through in the middle of the night that night, and the door got whipped open, and a bunch of snow come in here, and it had dropped the temperature down and froze everything on us. So we lost everything we had back in December, but hopefully we'll get everything back up and running this year and be a little more conscientious about our door. But just in case you were wondering, so these raised beds, they're about a foot off of the ground, and we made them 30 inches tall, but they're only about 26 to 24 inches deep with the compost that's in the bottom, and then of course the amended topsoil stuff that we're adding here on the top. Basically all we did is we just did a shiplap design and made them out of cedar fence pickets. That's what all of this stuff is. And we made the frame on the bottoms all 2x6 framing, pressure treated, so it will withstand the water over time. All of the beds are lined with a thick fabric for keeping the soil in, but yet still allow excess water to go out. Depending on what we're growing, we do a controlled irrigation system. So we got 3 zones in this. It's all controlled by our Orbit controller. Basically, just your lawn sprinkler controller. And depending on what we're growing and where we're growing, we'll space it out, because some of our zones we will water every day for a while. Sometimes we'll kick it back to every 3rd day. It all depends on what you're growing and what the recommendations is for the water. It definitely does get hot in here. Like I said, it is Yeah, it's 10:30 in the morning right now, and we are up to, we're 85 degrees in here, and it is just about, I think the last time I looked outside, it's right around 60. So that's 25 degrees difference just with the panel lining that's in here. So midsummer, it can definitely get hot in here. We come in yesterday when I got home from work and stepped in here, and it was actually 115 degrees in here, and outside temperature yesterday when we walked in was, I believe it was right around 78 degrees. So it definitely gets hot. That's why we have this exhaust fan up here that will kick on. Once the temperature up there reaches, you can see right up there, we got it set at 90 degrees. So once it hits 90 degrees in here, that'll kick on and start exhausting some of the hot air out of the top of the building. We do have the circulation fans. The video doesn't make them look like they're running, but they definitely are. Those are all ran off of another temperature control. As soon as it hits 60 degrees, those will kick on and start circulating the air in here. So wintertime, we do have an infrared heater. That'll come on just to keep everything above freezing in here. And as you can see, that's our temperature control that we have set for it. So it doesn't provide a super amount of heat, but it'll keep things from freezing. I know when we were growing stuff last year in December, so yeah, like I said, last year when we were growing things in December, it was we were having averaging days. I mean, it was cold, but we didn't get no snow. In fact, we've hardly had, the most snow we've actually had has been this spring here in 26. The winter of 25 and stuff, we didn't have hardly any snow at all. The ground was, in fact, we had a dry Christmas. This is for the first time in quite a while out here. But it was still cold. We were averaging 20 to 15 degree average temperatures in the daytime. It'd get up around 20, 30 degrees sometimes. The night times would drop down to freezing, well below freezing, or down to zero. 32 degrees is freezing, but yeah, they would definitely drop down around zero. But we were still running soil temps that we were measuring, and we were getting roughly about a 6-inch depth soil measurement. We were still running about 60 degrees in our soil at that time of year. So I honestly think we could have grown a lot longer had the door not got left open and froze us all out that night. But like I say, we'll try again this year. We're a little late kind of getting into the season. I wanted to actually be getting this thing up and running a lot sooner than this, but we'll do as we can, obviously. We do have also an air conditioning unit built into here, so that'll help regulate some of the temperature controls as well. So last summer, once we had everything regulated and we had all of this sunshade all placed in, we'd keep an average of about 90 degrees in the hot part of the days. So it was definitely cut it down. The sunshade helped drop it by about 20 to 25 degrees. If you measured above the sunshade, which we actually did to see how much we were saving, we were getting a good 20 to 25 degrees savings just from the sunshade, cutting some of the heat down. So, but we're going to continue getting our beds filled with our amended topsoil and get it all blended in, and maybe we'll go pick out some veggies and stuff at the store and see what they actually have on the shelves right now. And we're still a little bit early in the season out here in Wyoming, but some of the stores are starting to carry some stuff, so we'll go see if we can find some stuff. We do have stuff that we can plant by the seed. I would have liked to have got those in the ground, you know, at least a month or 6 to 8 weeks ago, honestly. But we'll do as we can, and definitely keep some videos rolling throughout the summer. That way you can see how this transforms. And last year it was amazing. I wish I had pictures, but I don't know what happened to them. But let me show. So this was the corner last year that we had our tomato plants planted in, and I had we had beefsteaks, we had early birds or early girls, I think there was some, I think Better Boys. There's so many different brands, but anyway, those plants grew and flourished so much. They were clear up to the top of this ceiling, and they were actually intertwining, and they just grew like crazy how tall they got. I mean, and it's kind of hard to judge in here, but so these boards are 30 inches apart. So the top up here, that's 8 foot. So by the time they grew from here, we had some that were 7-8 foot tall. I mean, they were growing clear out over here, clear up to the peak, and our peak is I think it's about 9.5 feet at the peak. And those tomatoes were growing up that high. I mean, they were just crazy. We had so many tomatoes that got frozen. I mean, they were still ripening and everything in the greenhouse in December last year, and I mean, it was a shame to have to throw away all of those that got frozen and split. And we tried to save some of them, but they just got, they weren't savable. By the time they thawed out from being frozen overnight, they basically just turned to mush. There wasn't anything we could really do. There was a few of them that was kind of back in behind everything that we were able to save, but out of it we probably lost about 70% of the tomatoes that were there, and we still ended up harvesting and being able to keep, I think it was around 40 tomatoes that we actually harvested. So, but anyway, it's definitely just a progress ongoing. If you're interested what it cost to build this greenhouse, so it's all basically post frame built into the ground, and we built it as a solid structure with materials and everything. We put about little under $5,000 into it to build it. It is 12 feet wide by 16 feet deep, and it's basically the whole perimeter except for, you know, the door area here is all of these beds, and then it's got a center bed here in the middle that the wife uses that for some of her specialty stuff that she wants to grow. She was growing, I think she had mint, and I don't know, there was something else growing in it last year. So she likes growing some herbs and things like that. So we learned a lot of stuff last year. We kind of overplanted in different areas, so we definitely want to make sure you keep your spacing good. That way you're not starving out your plants. So last year was our first year trying this, so obviously we learned some lessons there. We're not going to plant things as closely this time, kind of thin things out and not go overboard. You know, we're like, oh great, we got an indoor greenhouse, let's plant everything and grow everything that we can, and you can't do that. You still have to maintain your spacing for your vegetables and all of that stuff. And when you buy those from the, you know, your supermarket or your box store or wherever you happen to get them, and we got a couple of places around here that are actual greenhouses that sell their plants and stuff like that. I mean, they all come with instructions on, you know, your proper spacing and your proper watering, and, you know, how much sun they should get, and, you know, whether they want direct sunlight or whether they want, you know, partial sun, shade, things like that. So, I mean, there's a lot to go into of how you want to put your greenhouse together. So, you know, definitely do that. And if you're not sure, you know, if you've got some greeneries in your area, like I said, we got a couple in our area. So I talked with them a lot when we built this design as far as to what we wanted to do, especially for, you know, air movement and being able to exhaust the heat and that kind of stuff. So they were able to give a lot of insight of what we wanted to do to be able to make sure that, you know, we could be successful as we could. So like I say, we'll finish getting this stuff put in and get our amended topsoil mixed in and get the water system turned on and start getting us some water going in these beds, and hopefully we can start putting some vegetables and some fruits in the ground here in probably at least the next week. So like I said, we'll produce some videos throughout the summer to kind of keep progress of how everything's going in here. That way you can see how things are going. And if you have any questions or anything like that, you know, shoot them in the comments below. We'll definitely answer. If you're looking at building something for yourself, if you're in the Wyoming area, reach out to us. It's 307 Wood Creations LLC. We do kind of specialize in helping build these things, so definitely willing to come out and talk to you and see what your requirements are and what you're looking at as far as a greenhouse, and we can help put one together for you. So if you're out of state or anywhere else across the country, you got questions, please reach out. We'll definitely answer any questions that you have and kind of help you out. Like I say, this is you could easily do this as a DIY project, and it's nothing that you need to hire an actual professional for. If you're willing to tackle something like this on your own, we probably, time-wise, it took us about a month. I mean, we weren't working on this on a daily basis. It was basically weekend style work, but it was about a month to get it all put together. Most of the stuff was just getting the actual structural frame put up, getting the concrete set up for the posts. All the posts are in concrete and all of that stuff to help stabilize the building. So, but anyway, stay tuned and we'll keep you updated. Thanks for watching.